gorgeous ladies. You're welcome to day 7th of The Woman Called You Do Over January. Like I always like to let us know when I start every evening. Just a quick reminder of what The Woman Called You is all about, which is basically a platform, you know, where we inspire change through personal growth. Like I always remind us, you can't give what you don't have. So, over time, we with whatever it is we're dealing with at that moment, we try to, ensure that even though we expect to inspire change in people around us, people in our, immediate environs first, we need to ensure we grow personally. So this January, we're doing 31 days to declutter and deconstruct the mind to gain clarity. If you can just watch previous episodes, you'll get a grasp of what we've been on about. So today, day 7th, we'll be taking emotional self-care to declutter the mind. Yesterday, I quickly just did an overview of the different kinds of self care we'll be examining that we can help, whether we can use rather the tips and all that we can use, checklists, etc., that we can use to help declutter our mind towards not just gaining clarity but also deconstructing, like I said, learning, unlearning to relearn. So today we'll be taking emotional self-care. And in the course of today, my direction is two-pronged. The first one I'll be taking is the tips, ways and means, simple ways that you can embark on emotional self-care. Then the second part will be providing us with emotional checklists, that we can use. Um, some of you might be wondering, my background seems different. Yes, I bring you greetings from the Umo Popo people in Umwana Ndume, Umuahia, not local government of Abia State. Yes. So we'll just go straight into the business of today. And I do hope that someone who's been watching this, someone who is watching this now, someone who would watch later, will ultimately, understand the importance of self care. Like I said yesterday, we have different aspects of self care. I told us what self care is and what self care is not. Most importantly, to bear in mind is that self care is not selfishness, far from it. So today, I'm just going to go straight into the matter. I'm just glad that I just have this window to do this because I'm otherwise very, very preoccupied, for certain things I came here for. So, quick one. One of the first tips you would need to consider or think of doing if you want to embark on emotional self care. Number one, it's called monitor your internal dialogue. And you wonder, what does that have to do with emotional self care? I tell you, it has a lot to do with emotional self care. But first, you would wonder, what's this emotional self care she's on about? What emotional self care is simply is just allowing yourself, you know, to key into your emotions. Some people will call it making your emotions your ally. You understand? Allow yourself key into your emotions to just kind of enjoy the numerous benefits you can get when you care for yourself emotionally. They can be health benefits, they can be benefits that positively impact your well-being. But it's important that we once in a while take time to ensure we just love on ourselves and give ourselves some modicum of emotional self-care. When we talk emotional self-care as well, we're talking about taking control of who we are, recognizing yourself, feeling yourself, taking care of yourself, dedicating time to your mind, to your emotions. So that's basically what emotional self-care is. And like I said, the first, you know, thing you can do if you actually want to embark on a degree of emotional self-care, you must monitor your internal dialogue. If you're watching this, repeat it. Say, I call your name. And in this case, I'm saying, I, Ohunene, I will monitor my internal dialogue. If you took the journey with us when we did how to use the technique of brain dumping, you know, when you had to dump everything you ever just had plaguing and running around in your mind on a piece of paper. In this case, when we say monitor your internal dialogue, I'm saying every negative thought that never seems to go away, you know, that thought that essentially becomes a battle in your head. That's thoughts, that when it just comes, you get also emotional and all of that. When we say monitor your internal dialogue, you're going to say, look, although I have trouble letting go of this thought, in spite of having done it, when I did my brain dump exercise and all that, I know examples of such thoughts. You sit down and you think, I'm not good enough. Begin to say to yourself, I remember there was this model we had on the woman called you when we had to confront the woman in the mirror. I had to tell the woman in the mirror, yes, you might not be Miss Perfect, but you are good enough. So one way that you are going to monitor your internal dialogue, wherever the words just come, those negative thoughts that come to tell you enough, tell those thoughts, look, I I am good enough. And that's the truth of the matter. You must understand that the thoughts we have, those negative thoughts, have a way of, just getting a hold of our mind and causing us not to have clarity, to lose all sense of direction. So a woman should say today and just commit to begin to monitor your internal dialogue. Number two, create boundaries, whether it be with family, whether it be at work. A woman must create boundaries. When I was telling us the other day, I said so many of us will overcommit. That's why our minds are so cluttered. You must admit that, look, I'm not superwoman. Oh. I mean, there are times I can't do it all. I mean, it comes to a point where you must have clear expectations. Set them. Set those rules. Let people know what is a deal breaker for you. You understand? When you create boundaries, people will know how far they should go and how far or close they should come to you. And that's the truth. I know we are talking about creating boundaries seriously. You will begin to learn to say no. I know we talked about it a couple of days ago, but I mean, we're referring to another aspect of self care. It had to do with when we're asking ourselves why we think we need to embark on decluttering our minds. So if you choose to consciously, and when I say consciously, deliberately begin to create boundaries, one of the things you will learn to say is no. You will embrace the word no, not just because you don't want to help, because you are at that point where you have to begin to allow yourself to say yes to yourself. I mean, what I'm saying may seem cryptic, but it's not about being selfish. I keep on saying it. There are times your life is so busy, and you just need to catch yourself. You feel sometimes you feel like you're overstretched, but you fear, the possibility of losing connections with family. You fear the possibility of losing connections with friends. But the truth is this: once you begin to create boundaries, you are actually taking care of your emotional well being. And I think, and I hope what I'm saying is resonating with somebody. Then, number three, after you create boundaries in family and work, the next thing that will happen is you begin to learn to make time for me time. And sadly, that's something so many of us women don't do. We just run around like headless chickens and basically don't make time for ourselves. So I'm here to tell a gorgeous woman today that, sometimes we just feel that we need to be with people we care about, family, loved ones 24/7. But I tell you, if you begin to see the importance of me time, you will know that your me time is non negotiable. You will understand that your me time, it's, some people call it their Zen moment, where you just relax, you decompress, you purge yourself of negative thoughts, all those things that cloud your subconscious. During your me time, you may choose to take a walk. Some women that have small children, their me time, they lock themselves up in the restroom, you know. And the thing about me time, it should be like a time when you reboot. You reboot. It's a time like saying, most people that do all this yoga, you hear things like, ooh, sigh. It's almost like saying out with the old, and in with the new. The next one you would need to do, or consider that as an activity to do in order to promote emotional self-care is for you to get creative. I like using myself like as an example. People say, "Oh, she does this, she does this, she does that." I I began to just pick up all these skills, not necessarily formally, you understand, but informally, because it was a way of decompressing, reconnecting with myself. You know, I had burnout, so many issues, but I just found out that there was a creative bone in me, and today it's flourished into not just one, but at least three businesses that are like running. I mean, I'm not there yet, but it's it's a way I basically, it's an outlet, yes, for my creativity. So it helps me. Most times I tell people when I'm creating, I'm kind of in a Zen zone. So for me, that's emotional self care, and I'm sure that it's the same way for somebody, maybe one or two women watching this. So try to key into your creative bone. There's hardly anybody that is not creative, because we have so many things running around our mind at any time t. It's basically difficult to connect with that aspect of your personality. So quickly, the next one, which is number 5, is we need to get to the point, right, where you must understand that you are not perfect. Nobody is perfect. Most people might seem as if they are, but trust me, this may sound harsh, but I think each and every one of us were really far from any form of perfection. So it's best you decide for your emotional well-being to begin to adjust to your imperfections, and that's true. And when you do that, your self-esteem will improve. I always tell you people how I hate I'll use the word, I'll use it in the past now. I hated being fat. You know, I'm still fat, yes, but deliberately making an effort to do something about it because I don't like being fat. But the thing is this, if you don't like embracing emotional self-care, embracing your imperfections, because most of us, we continue battle for perfectionism. You want to have Botticelli shape, you want to have the best skin, you want to have the best complexion. Sometimes it's unattainable. So with what you have, the package you have, I'm telling a woman today, make sure you do yourself a favor, that thing that will help your emotional well-being, by being the best version of yourself. One of the things we see now, because of the, this crazy, this thing, if social media is now totally in your face, is the fact that so many of us want to be other people. But like they always tell you, When you choose to be like someone else, you are totally a clone, you're totally a carbon copy, and there's no originality in being a carbon copy. And that's why you see most women will be depressed. Um, they don't feel as good as the next person. And before you know it, your emotional well being is threatened. The next one, and this one, so many people like it because I have this friend, she has a program, and every time we always talk about this. Another aspect of emotional self care. This it's a 5 word question, and I'll just quickly put it up. It says, "Who is in your circle?" I don't know which God who is listening to me at this point, but the fact is, who is in your circle? You need to seek out, you know, a network of people who support you, who would regularly check in on you, you know. And I tell you, it's a way of ensuring your emotional well being. The kind of individuals in your circle who, when you need readjustment, they're not afraid to tell you. When you need to be set straight, they're not afraid to tell you. When there's a need for you to be recentered, they will help you. That by the time you're with them, when you are leaving, you're not just energized. You feel clearer. You have this sense of, clarity. Like I always tell you, I have somebody who I would always call, who I can talk with. I think I can have like 3 of them in my life who I would always talk to. And I'll have this USA moment, if I dare say so. So that's the thing. Who is in your circle? Who is in your circle? Another thing that is important, and I tell you, we can't overemphasize it. They need to ensure that your mindset is what it should be. And I've tagged this one, mindset is everything. I mean, as opposed to a fixed mindset. For your emotional well-being, begin to consider developing, a growth mindset. It shouldn't be, if it's not this way, it's my way or the highway. I'm not saying you should compromise your values. I'm not saying you should go against grain. I'm not saying you should swim against the tide. Far from it. But I'm simply saying, where you have hitherto seen the glass, I know this might sound cliche, but where you have hitherto seen the glass as half empty, you might just reconsider beginning to see it as half full. Because that's the thing, it's all about, you know, perspective, perception. If your perception is fixed, if your mindset is fixed, you can be sure your emotional well being will be threatened. And when your emotional well being is threatened, you would be denying yourself, the best emotional self care you can give yourself. And when that happens, trust me, your mind is cluttered. And when your mind is cluttered, remember if you watched the first day where we discussed what it means to have a cluttered mind as against a decluttered one, then there definitely will be flashpoints and also problems, which I hope, like I said, I don't even love to call it problems, I call them challenges, which I hope can be dealt with. So choose today to ensure that your mindset is everything. Your mindset is everything. And one other thing I would like for somebody to, you know today, I want you to know that there is absolutely nothing wrong in feeling your emotions. I've tagged that tip for emotional self care. I've tagged it feeling your emotions. Some people they feel guilty about thoughts that go through their minds. They feel guilty that they need to look out for themselves. There's nothing wrong in you wanting to look out for number one. That's yourself. Where you are not selfish, where you do not think of your own pleasure, where you're not Machiavellian, like I said it the other day, where you say it doesn't matter, the end justifies the means. No, 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 no. whatever you're going through. Allow yourself to feel whatever you're going through. A couple of weeks ago, I said something. I said, I was talking to some people about grief, and I said, nobody should be made to feel guilty because they are grieving. Nobody should be made to feel guilty because they are grieving. So allow yourself to feel your emotions. It's a legitimate thing. So I'm going to round up with a couple of things. Remember, I said a checklist. Like I said, I'm somewhere and I have quite a lot of family commitments, and I'm committed to doing this for 31 days. So I'll just quickly conclude what I need to do now. So one of the things I want us to look at is what I call the checklist. The checklist. I call it the checklist. So you can see it is scrolling beneath the checklist for emotional self care. Number one, if you don't have the kind of circle that you think benefits your Zen moments, develop friendships that are supportive. Look out for the kind of circles, you know, that will breed emotional well being for you. Then, number two, I want you to take a pen and paper, even as I close. Write three good things that you did, or rather, that you did today. I wanted to say that you did today. Sorry, I need to edit it. That you did today. Write down three good things that you did today. Yes, write down three good things that you did today. Let me put it. I don't know why it's. Yep. Write down three good things that you did today. Put it up. Yes. Write down three good things that you did today. Write them down. Take that your pen and paper. I said this is largely an instructive course. Then write down three good things about yourself. Write down three good things about yourself. So I'll just run through them again. Number one, develop friendships that are supportive. I said it already. Two, I just want to run through the checklist so you get it. Write three good things that you did today. Then write three good things about yourself. Have you done that? Good. So, guys, that's emotional self care for today. That's emotional self care for today. I hope I've been able to just provide some clarity on what it essentially means, to have what do you call it? To indulge, so to speak, in I I do hope I've been able to just do something today, and hopefully we'll meet up tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm just glad I've been able to do this irrespective of my schedule. So God bless you guys. See you tomorrow.